Welcome back to Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. In the last episode we went to Chili Creek and had a look at that very strange place, and we also visited the Nameless Ruins together with Nenio, which was also an interesting experience. Now we have to visit the Hellknight camp, and after that we have Leper's Smile, which is going to be an interesting little adventure. Sure. For now, let's go to the reliable Redoubt, where we can find the Hellknights. And also pick up a new companion.
I'll go ahead.
Down there is Jaeger. Looks like the Hellknight continued to fight the Gargoyle even from the air. They both fell to the rocks and perished. Commander, come here, quickly. From the mountain you see a raided camp and two groups of warriors, one wearing white and yellow armor, the other in black. They are led by a tall man in white priest's robes. Some of the warriors glance around fretfully, their weapons shaking in their hands. You hear the screams of gargoyles from above. The beasts are approaching the camp.
Quickly, evacuate the wounded. The beasts are about to strike again. Use cloaks as stretchers. We've got to make it through. Paralictor, your people will have to cover us while...
2 more minutes left out in the open, and neither you nor I will have any troops left to order about, Crusader.
But the wounded...
Problem solved. Retreat to shelter.
Okay. The Paralictor will lead the unit to shelter. We need to get through to them. Sure, it's wise of you to run off alone.
Can we retreat already?
I think I'm gonna haste. Fireball strategically placed there. Yeah, that did some damage.
You won't survive me.
Stab you or zap you? Why not both?
The Inheritor, guide my blade!
Out of my sight!
Darren doing a critical hit is not exactly what I would say is a common thing.
I will see to your demise!
Again, we can do a strategically placed fireball.
Go!
Are you able to? Yeah, you are.
Aim carefully.
That was effective.
Endure this!
Precision and grace. Distract them from me.
Very good indeed.
I know the way.
And the sight before you is at once macabre and picturesque. A lifeless couple, a dead man and a woman dressed in white and yellow priest's robes, lie on the ground surrounded by the bodies of dead gargoyles. They are tangled in death. The claws of the monsters are tearing at the humans' clothes, and the largest gargoyle's talon has pierced the man's chest and punctured his heart. But before they died, he or his companion defeated the enemy. Suddenly, the woman opens her eyes. She doesn't look at you, but stares up at the Worldwound's horrific sky. Her pale lips open, and she exhales abruptly. The sun will never rise again. There's only darkness above me. Even the sky here is cursed, and we along with it. Jaeger, walking in the front, steps over the man's body without looking, but turns around with the sound of the woman's voice. The Mendevian faithful break too easily. Oh, if all the Mendevian devotees broke easily, I would be much happier. Unfortunately, most of them have good health, unconquerable will, and a never-ending desire to moralize. Derenge is jeering, but looks at the wounded woman with hesitation. He shrugs. She is not just wounded. I can see the signs of severe exhaustion. I wonder what happened here. Let us go with this one. You need help. You will feel better now. The woman pushes you away with a weak gesture. Expend your efforts on someone who can be helped. Leave me. The crusade is over. Who are you? What happened here? I am a priestess of ardent Sarenrae from the Order of the Sunrise Sword. Next to me is Ashes Strieger, the head of our order. Sorrowful pride sounds in the woman's voice. He has led our forces on raids to the Worldwound many times. This campaign, the gargoyles attacked a few nights ago. A vast number, we've never seen anything like it. Ashes organized our resistance with great skill, but while the monsters were distracting our fighters, a small group of them raided the camp and took our supplies. We were left without food and water in the middle of the Worldwound, where it is nearly impossible to find provisions. We shared the last crumbs of our supplies and set off back the way we came. Everyone was suffering from hunger and thirst. We were weak and could barely fight back when the gargoyles struck a second time. They snatched many of us away. I saw the pain on Ash's face as he counted the losses, but he managed to rally us. We continued our trek and soon came across traces of a recent battle. Someone had destroyed a troop of demon worshippers. In our desperation, we decided to follow the strangers, to warn them of the gargoyles and seek their help, having no idea that they were Hellknights. Received only scorn. The gulp of water in my unit is accounted for, they said. They spared us 2 flasks and a sack of dried bread. They said we were allowed to keep the sack to use as bandages. 2 flasks between all of us, a sack for bandages. Hellknights! Sela curls her fists, almost grunting through her clenched teeth. I'd rather ally with a flesh-eating poisonous wyvern. Don't expect any goodness from those black tin cans. If you meet them, count yourself lucky if you don't end up nailed to the nearest fence post. The leader has to take care of their own tribe first. All the scandalized gasps, how could he do such a thing, suddenly fall away when you're first faced with a hard choice. Are you going to take food out of your own child's mouth to feed a starving stranger? What happened after that? Gargoyles attacked. Despite how the Hellknight Paralictor had treated us, Ashes endeavored to help them and had us carry their wounded, but that monster had them slaughtered. Ashes was beside himself. It is difficult to conceive of such evil. He told our people to go with the Hellknights to find shelter while he stayed to cover our retreat. The woman exhales softly. He was a strong cleric, but as he treated our wounded, he neglected himself, and he paid for it. Your commander cannot be helped, but you're still alive. Allow me to help you and come with us. The woman looks at you wistfully. Why? So many deaths, so many sacrifices, such bravery. All for what? No, I will not go with you, stranger. My commander and I will die by what we lived for. Compassion and nobility. I don't want to keep fighting for a world that bows to such laws. Goddess, forgive me. Farewell. The woman closes her eyes, exhausted. Jaeger shakes his head. Commander, I'm not one to advise you, but you're wasting time on this fool, and the gargoyles will soon be back. That's their usual tactics. Fly up, regroup, attack again. I'm going back to my unit now, and I'd advise you not to stay here long either. Bastard Sword of Hope. That is a decent sword.
Focus on the goal.
Make every strike count.
Don't think we can charge any of them because of those tents. Not that I'm worried, they will most certainly come to us. We can redo the prayer.
Time to share your treasures.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
The light take you!
Indeed.
Forwards!
Well, we killed it.
I'll make short work of this.
Let's try this way.
Cover me, all right?
Many owls.
You won't survive me.
Into the fray!
A solid plan.
Out of my sight.
Suppose there's much I can do. I mean, I could probably potentially cast haste, but
This will hurt.
Stab you or zap you? Why not both?
okay, I'm gonna cast haste. This is getting a little bit
Endure this.
uncomfortable.
The Inheritor, guide my blade!
You're also in a very awkward position, Darren.
I will see to your demise.
A calculated risk.
Distract them for me.
Caledon is definitely taking damage here.
Make every strike count.
Sadly, they cannot be tricked because they have wings, so...
The light take you!
Attack!
Precision and grace.
There we go. Even after the attack, the tents at the Hellknight camp are lined up neatly, looking like they're ready for a parade. at all.
Don't mind me. This is my kind of work.
Another horse armor. I left the others in the chest at camp, since I will not be able to use them for a while yet. Lore Nature 17. I think we should be able to do that without much problem.
Thanks, Lan. You're so awesome, Lan.
Yes. Demonic energy has polluted the earth, creating tumors filled with poison.
Follow my lead. As it should be.
Knight Commander, I presume. Your glory precedes you. I am Regill Derenge, Paralictor of the Order of the Godclaw, and temporary officer of the joint unit of Hellknights and the Order of the Sunrise Sword. You and your people should take positions. The gargoyles are regrouping. We expect they will attempt to break through in 5 to 6 minutes.
A Paralictor indeed. Impressive.
Are you in command of this unit? Oh, no? Then step aside and let me discuss the matter with the commander.
A joint unit?
Forcibly joined. The leader of the Order of the Sunrise Sword was unable to get to safety, which is not surprising, considering his, shall we say, excessive scrupulousness and sluggishness. Given the extreme situation, I took command of his people.
Just great. Paladins and Hell Knights all in the one troop. It's like catching the plague and the pox at the same time.
It's supposed to be good when different people unite. We're here for a common cause. But it still gives me the creeps for some reason. Hell Knights shouldn't be allowed to get their claws into our paladins. It's wrong.
I saw you ordered your own wounded to be finished off.
Indeed. The gargoyles were clearly trying to capture as many prisoners as they could. I don't know the reason behind these abductions, but I'm not about to give the enemy what they want. That is why all my people were ordered not to be taken alive. And as for the wounded, we didn't have time to get them to safety anyway.
They have done some mistake with the voiceover audio here in regards to the level on this specific voice actor.
Can you hear yourself? For the sake of principle, in order not to give the enemy what they want, you killed your own wounded. Helpless subordinates. Why does anyone still follow you?
Because we are Hellknights. We know our duty.
Only someone who's never been responsible for the lives of others could feel any outrage at this decision. The wounded couldn't be saved. What good would it do to anyone if the rest perished along with them?
What charming people. Those fellows in black make Holrun look like a sweet old soul by comparison.
Considering the fact that Darren actually is neutral evil, it is kind of amusing that he has these types of observations. Did you really just give 2 flasks of water to the Knights of the Sunrise Sword suffering from thirst, and a sack to use as bandages? Standing behind his commander, Jaeger rolls his eyes.
I spared them the exact volume of resources I could sacrifice without risking my own people. However, the situation has developed, and I've already ordered they be given additional supplies. They are temporarily under my charge, and I can use their forces to rebuff the attack. They'll work for their water.
I'm going to go with the evil one here, actually. Because this is not one of those totally stupid evil answers, and I'm a bit worried that I would pop out of the lawful evil if I don't at least do these occasionally. So compassion is an amusement for the comfortable in times of peace. It has no place in war.
Indeed, and particularly in a war against demons.
You hear some of the knights in white and yellow sigh sadly, but their sighs are drowned out by the hum of soft approval. We need to get rid of the gargoyles, then we'll talk.
Agreed. Be ready, Commander. This attack may be worse than the last one.
You can handle them, right?
No, Woljif. We will handle them together. Stop being such a coward.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
Time to share your treasures!
No glory without risk!
What is that aura surrounding her? Smite good, okay.
This should do it.
You won't survive.
Enemy near.
I'll make short work of this.
Not sure how they got to there, but
Endure this.
The Inheritor, guide my blade!
Cover me, alright?
and there's more of them at the entrance. Um.
Make every strike count.
That guy is going to annoy me.
Let's try this way.
Can you... You can, but... You have to cast that on yourself.
The light take you!
Stab you or zap you. Why not both?
Oh god. gods, even more of them down there. How many are there? High Cleric.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
This will hurt.
Aim carefully.
Into the fray!
Distract them for me.
I'm not particularly damaged though, so that's at least something. Can you cast... Yeah, you can. Cast Protection from Evil.
You won't survive me.
A calculated risk.
I'm particularly worried about...
Forwards!
The
I
inheritor,
forgot what I was going to say.
guide my blade!
Time to share your treasures.
Out of my sight!
I was going to say that I wasn't particularly worried about something, but I have no idea what it was. Headband of Inspired Wisdom, that's going to go to Social.
That is not far.
Let's quick save and see if we can get across here.
This is my kind of work.
Can. Loot here. More protection. The skeleton of a man wearing armor from the time of the First Crusade. It's holding the skeleton of a child with strange proportions and animal paws instead of its right arm and leg. In other words, a mongrel. Still alive. Praised be Sarenrae. Where is the Paralictor? There he is. Regill gracefully stows his weapon and places his hands behind his back. You two, check the area. Mark any potential shelters that offer protection against aerial attacks. Quartermaster, inventory the remnants of the camp. I want to make sure that the gargoyles only abducted people and weren't interested in anything else. Send messengers immediately to our scout squads and order them to return to camp. And I need a full list of casualties. The sooner the better. It turns to you and nods slightly. Commander, your arrival was well timed. Now we can finally talk. I'm quite interested in the events that occurred at the Grey Garrison, and I suppose you have questions for me as well. What do you want to know about what happened at the Grey Garrison? Any shift in the balance of power during this war has a direct impact on my mission. If a new player appears who is capable of fighting demons effectively, then I am ready to support that person with all the resources I have at my disposal. Regill speaks pensively as if talking to himself. But naturally, I cannot blindly trust a stranger, even one marked by the gods. The gods blessed me with an incredible gift, and Queen Galfrey put me at the helm of the crusade, but that's not enough for you, is it? The will of the gods cannot and should not replace our sound judgment, and the whims of the Queen and the whims of the Queen of Mendev are of no consequence at all. Regill stops for a moment, thinking. Is there anything you'd like to know before we move on to more serious issues? What are Hellknights doing here within the borders of the Worldwound? The same as you and your army, fighting a war against the demons. The Hellknights have always been part of the Crusades from the very beginning. We don't answer to Queen Galfrey and we act on our own authority, but we serve the common cause. The Scaris' spawn have no place in the world we want to build. Regill barks out the final words. Funny, isn't it? Knights clad in black armor have been fighting this war from the off, but most people don't even know it. The face of the Crusades is a Mendevian paladin with a sword of Iomedae gleaming on their gilded armor. In that respect, my cousin Galfrey has a real flair for propaganda, I must say. For the Hellknights, the Worldwound is just one of several targets. They expend much greater efforts on book burning and suppressive slave uprisings. Yes, their order sent reinforcements here, but Mendev has always borne the brunt of this war. What does Paralictor mean? I am the commander of this unit, and in the Order's hierarchy I'm 2 steps lower than its leader. In the territory of Mendev and the Worldwound there are a few who equal my rank, but I am the most senior Hell Knight officer for many leagues around. What are you going to do now after the Gargoyle attack? I will wait for my remaining fighters to return. What you see here is only a small part of my forces. As for my long-term plans, that depends on the result of our conversation, Commander. Regill narrows his eyes. Before we move on to serious subjects, I'd like to address an organizational issue regarding my unit. You may wish to be present. Jaeger steps forward and salutes with a clenched fist to his chest. Paralictor, permission to report. During the first Gargoyle attack, I determined it necessary to leave my post. I swam over the river, found the commander's army and asked them to provide assistance. Regill nods. The reinforcements were much needed. You will earn a double salary for your resourcefulness, Jaeger, and 100 lashes for abandoning your post. The young knight grows a little pale, but immediately salutes again. Yes, Paralictor. Don't forget he abandoned his armor. Might be right. Regill doesn't take his eyes off the young knight, searching for signs of weakness. Another 10 lashes for improper treatment of Order property. Yes, Paralictor. This time Jaeger doesn't grow pale, but only salutes and clenches his teeth. The Paralictor, the epitome of ruthlessness, the young knight singly devoted to his ideals. So far, so dull. Or is it? Could it be that our Sir Jaeger holds a tendre for his commander? I heard that sort of thing is rampant in the military. What a relief it is to know that such tawdriness could never afflict our valiant crusaders. Darren smirks. Isn't that right, Calidor? You're not about to foist yourself on some poor lovesick fool who is unlucky enough to be under your command while knowing his love is doomed to be unrequited? A fool whose love is doomed to be unrequited? Well, you can't be referring to yourself. Of course not. You may have doomed me to languishing in this army, but fortunately I am not in love with you. Although... Darren pauses and casts an appraising eye your way, as though seriously considering the prospect. No, still nothing. I'm not in love with you. Are these guys made of stone or what? They seem creepy, but I kind of like them. Regill, who has watched you closely throughout the entire conversation, nods to himself. Now for a more delicate issue. You, Commander, were interested in our dispute with the Knights of the Order of the Sunrise Sword, correct? Their forces in Kenarbers suffered great losses in the demon attack, and now their leader has perished, and his troops are in trouble. They are reeling with no command structure. Their order will hardly be able to recover from the losses they've suffered. What are you getting at? These fighters aren't the finest material I'm worked with, but if I assume formal command over them, I'll be able to reforge them into weapons of reasonable quality. 1 or 2 might even become true Hellknights. But the rest will be put to good use as well. What does this have to do with me? A spark flashes in Regill's pale yellow eyes. I suppose, Commander, that for leagues around, from Kenabres to Dresden, and from Dresden to the cursed city of Iz at the heart of the Worldwound, all of this pertains to you in one way or another. You are the catalyst that shifted an age-old balance of power, whether you meant to or not. Your own future and much more depends on the decisions you make here and now, even the ones that seem insignificant. I will support you and recommend that the Knights of the Sunrise Sword fall in under your command, but I will expect your support in return, Paralector. I will gladly give my support to one who can effectively fight the demons. And now let's turn to our orphans. Regill looks at the warriors in white and yellow, shifting cheerlessly from one foot to the others. Initiates of the Sunrise Sword, your leader is dead. The Order has suffered serious losses and will not be able to recover. You may return to Mendev to join another Crusader Order and hope that they don't meet the same fate as the Sunrise Sword. Or you may remain under my command. I will not promise that it will be easy or that our war-making will be constricted by your principles. What I can promise is this. Under my command, you will never again feel like helpless mice in the talons of a ravenous raptor. Does that mean we've worked off the precious resources you spent on us? The water, medicine, and bandages? Yells one of the knights in white and yellow. I wouldn't make such an offer if I thought you were useless garbage. The initiates of the Sunrise Sword consult with each other for a time, and then one of them, a young woman in knight's armor, steps forward. Thank you for your trust, Paralector. We will stay and are ready to obey your orders. Fine. In due course, I will review your troops and make any necessary decisions regarding your role in my unit. Regill turns to you. And now, Commander, for the most important issue, cooperation between our forces. We do have a common enemy and a common battlefield. My army and I are going to Dresden to free the city from demons. You can join forces with us. Regill rubs his chin pensively. Dresden? An ambitious goal, but most reasonable. Imagine how such a victory would rally all the separate bands of today's crusaders under one banner. And we certainly need a base of operations within the Worldwound. I stand ready to support you. Moreover, I can accompany you in your campaign. However, I would remind you that Hellknights are outside of Mendev's jurisdiction. My unit and I will join your forces and obey your orders. But only for as long as I deem that our goals coincide. Hell no, we don't need the likes of these black-armored statues. I don't want to fight side by side with someone who will slit my throat if I'm weak and wounded. You can't defeat one evil by inviting an equal, but slightly more organized evil into your ranks. Slightly more organized than the demons? I could consider that an insult. I've never dealt with Hellknights before, but from what I've seen, they're serious fighters. That's just what we need. And just think how that armor will look in the paintings they'll make about our battles. It is a deal. Yes, Commander. My forces and Regill Derenge are at your disposal. I'm gonna leave him outside of the party, though. I think that's about it for this location. Yeah, it definitely should be. And they've nicely placed an area exit there instead of having to go around all the area to get out. That was nice of them. Now, the next and final step that we have to do before we can get to Dresden, which is up here, is to go through the Leper's Smile. To go through Leper's Smile, we'll have to do... yeah, that's That's an entire episode worth in itself, to be honest. It is a rather eventful little thing. Now, as for Regill, let me just see here. We need to level him up. He is a Blood Rager. No, rather, I'm going to make him a Blood Rager. I'm not completely convinced by the guide that states that he should take Last Stand. If I were playing on core, I would have taken. I don't think we Last Stand here. I think we shall take Inspirational Leader rather than... No, because we have that on the Paladin. Hideous laughter spell. I'm going to go with Ever Ready. Is a very good. This one is good too. Bleeding Strike. We're going to go with Ever Ready, and I'm going to level him up as a Blood Rager rather than a Hellknight. He is an Armiger and a Hellknight. Not entirely sure what an Armiger is. Probably a fighter. Interesting, you say? Social, you need to get the headband of Inspired Wisdom. As for the headband of Vast Intelligence, that goes to Thunfix. As for the Ring of Protection, +2. Gives that Calidor. And then Social can get a Ring of Protection. I also think we'll give Social... This thing weighs 30, this thing weighs 30, so we'll give him a breastplate instead. Put his armor class up a bit. As for our Paladin, we have a lot of stuff we need to do with her, but we are going to have Sela for a while. I gave Ember this Amulet of Blackened Mirror. It is kind of difficult to give it to Melia, since you can't remove that amulet of hers. This Cloak of Cleansing. Do I want... Yeah, okay, we're going to give that to Lan. And... I think that's basically it for now. We haven't received any... Well, we have this one that I can copy. I'm going to wait with the scrolls until we get to Dresden. Although it might be a good idea to actually scribe scrolls on this guy. But I want to scribe scrolls that I actually need. Spell Magic, definitely. Expeditious Retreat could be useful. Heroism, definitely. Not that worried about Hold Person. That could always be useful. Ray spells, yeah. Stone Skin, yes. And Vanish seems fine. Okay, that means that we'll have less clutter when we are to decide what spells we pick on leveling up. But for now, I think that we've reached the end of this episode. keep in mind that the next episode will probably end up being potentially longer than usual, because Leper Smile is it's quite the endeavor. But for now, if you do have any questions and or comments, then please do feel free to leave those in the comment section. And thank you all so very much for joining me. I hope to see you all in the next episode.